you?
I'm Randy.
I'm Calvin, and we are the original security guys. Okay, it's 2023. We need to talk about security again.
Security? Who needs security?
Well, you know, I'm hearing all this stuff about VPN this and VPN that. You can't, don't use a computer without a VPN.
Use our VPN, you'll be secure.
I'm telling you, we need to throw up one. We'll offer it for free.
That'd be a good idea.
All right, so let's talk about VPN. For our audience, we may not know what a VPN is, why they even exist, and
what is a VPN, Calvin? What does VPN stand for?
Virtual Private Network.
So how does that help out our customers, our clients, our listeners?
Depends. We're going to have to first talk about why you would even want a VPN in the first place and not what's being advertised. So let's talk about an open versus a closed network.
Okay, so many years ago,
yeah,
we were both a little younger and a little thinner,
a little better looking.
Yeah, we both worked for an institution that was not closed, was very much open.
Oh,
and we actually increased the security by installing a VPN.
And which allowed us to make it
close a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So back whenever networks first were being built, there were no internet. You had a company, and they had a building, and they had a whole bunch of computers inside that building, and they networked them together, and that was it. There was no internet.
Apple Talk, Token Ring.
Yeah. So everything you had was on the server, right? That was designed. You know, when you geek out, that's the thin networks, right? Is what they are. Okay.
Thin net, thick net.
Yeah. Okay. So, but then what happened was, okay, it's completely closed. There is no internet connectivity. There was not really any internet. But what we need to be able to do is, now that we've got some kind of internet connectivity, and our executive officer goes out of town, and they need to be able to connect back to the server to be able to continue to work, much like what everybody had to do during the pandemic. But this was back a long time ago, and the problem was thought about a little differently. It was, we've got to get them back connected to our network, and that was a different proposition then than it is today. So the only way that they could get connected was through a VPN, right? It was not for security purposes. It was to allow somebody remotely to to connect into a secure network. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. So once that got connected, okay, that there's a connection there, and they talk about, well, that's an encrypted tunnel. Their data is encrypted, right? Okay, I believe that, right? Because they are with the VPN. But if the person that's doing the connecting into the VPN, to whatever the other side it's connecting to, the other network, does it make their computer secure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
The connection from their computer to the VPN concentrator is a secure tunnel.
Correct.
But their computer could still be compromised on the other side. So it depends on what type of tunnel it is.
It does. There's multiple different types of tunnels. Now, the ones that are being sold today are, I mean, all of your traffic, no matter what you do, goes through that VPN.
A full VPN.
Right. We won't get into talking about the split tunnels and all that kind of stuff. That gets it gets a little bit more technical, but suffice to say, where we're going with this for our audience is the full tunnels that you're either going to pay a subscription for, or they're going to be for free. Now, the ones you get for free, are those good?
You get what you pay for. I mean, they're good. They're good for what they are, but
are the ones you pay for better? Well, for our clients, our client, for our audience that's out here, is paying for it, or the free ones? I mean, is there any really difference in what we're talking about?
No, there's no real difference.
No real difference. you're not getting any more by paying for it, are the ones you're getting for free.
You're just shifting where your traffic is appearing to coming from your home to whatever VPN that you're using.
Right. So VPN is not a security device. It's just a remote connectivity tool to go from one location to another location to use computing services through a particular access point.
Yeah, some would argue that it is a security appliance because it keeps that information from being eavesdropped upon during the transit from point A to point B. But beyond that, no.
Beyond that, right? Because whenever we had our network and we were doing this and we were setting up those VPN connections, our number one concern was, but that computer, it's out there. It's not protected. And if a hacker gets access to that computer, they now have a tunnel straight in. They have a wonderful protected tunnel to come straight into our network that was secure and do anything they want because they'll have the permissions of that user, which remember, that user we trust because they're our user. We allowed them to have the VPN to securely, if you want to use that word, to connect to us.
And it was common for worms and viruses to traverse the tunnel and be an infection point.
So for the services that are being sold or given away for free, so the concept of, well, if you're sitting in a coffee shop, you want to protect your communications, blah, blah, blah. And so you're using your computer, you connect to a VPN, that connection from that computer to whoever's providing that VPN service, that's encrypted. That's all encrypted and nobody can...
You've now stopped the hacker or the person who's potentially trying to do a man-in-the-middle at the coffee shop from eavesdropping on your traffic.
Right. So if I had my computer and I was the hacker, I couldn't be on that network and look on the wire, the network cable itself or the Wi-Fi. I couldn't get on there and see your traffic. It would just be garbage.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm a smart hacker. I'm not going to go after that traffic. You're sitting right next to me. I'm going to go after your computer. I'm going to hack your computer. Once I get access to your computer, what do I now have access to if you're connected to the VPN?
The VPN, what's on the other side?
And that computer too, right?
And my computer.
So how secure are you with that VPN?
About that secure.
About that secure. So, okay, all right. So now the 10,000-pound white elephant in the room. Why would any company either charge you or give it away for free? Especially, there's a bunch of them that give it away for free, free VPN services. What is their motivation? What is their benefit? What are they going to get by you using your computer to connect to their VPN service, and all of your internet traffic, everything that you do will go through their servers first before it gets out to the internet to protect you? Well, what's their motivation? What do they get out of it?
Commoditization of it. They're turning it into money.
They know what websites you go to. They know what banks you go to. They know what you're actually doing. As long as it goes through that VPN, they know everything you're doing. That information has value. It's highly valuable in large volumes.
They collect and aggregate all that data.
That's correct. And if it happens to be in clear text, if you're not using a secure service yourself or a website or anything else, bonus, that will have your username and password. The people providing you the free VPN service or paying for it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it's in clear text, it's fair game. Right.
So these VPN services that are out there right now, they sound really good. And I think under the right circumstances, I don't want to say they're all crooks. That's not necessarily true. But just understand they have an ulterior motive for providing you that VPN service.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. Now, so, I mean, if your company has a VPN and they say, well, use the VPN to connect to work, that's a great thing.
Yeah, but most works where you're doing that are using back to the split tunnel. Split tunnel.
Yeah.
So stuff destined for work is going through the tunnel, and stuff destined for the internet to serve to Google or whatever is going out an unencrypted connection.
Right. It's not protected.
Correct.
The same. Not through the VPN.
So it would be through, Google's HTTPS, so they're
Yeah.
protected in that aspect. But your DNS query and other things to that, established at, are not going to be protected.
Yeah. So, and of course, now we know that some home network devices that you would buy from Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, whatever, you buy them, and most people have them in their homes. A lot of those have VPN capability. So, in other words, if you turn that on and you know how to configure that, you can take your computer and travel and then use that VPN to connect back to your home and use the resources that you would have back at home as if you were sitting right there.
Or you could use it to protect your traffic while you're at the coffee shop or
Could.
some other place.
So
Hotel.
you could just set up your own VPN at home.
If you have sufficient bandwidth.
Yeah. Yeah. Bandwidth, meaning it's fast enough connection that while you're in a coffee shop that you're not, on dial-up type speed, because again, you're dealing with a lot of issues there about eating up the speed ability, when you're remote like that.
The internet service provider I've got is giving me a good deal of download, but my upload, which is what I would need to bring in the VPN tunnel, that's not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, we are starting to see more and more true fiber type connections at the homes now, with some service providers where where it's maybe a gig. It may not even be a gig speed, but it's both a gig in and a gig out, because there's some service providers that I guess they don't know how the internet and how networking actually works. They think that, if you're surfing the internet, we're going to make it really fast. But if you try to push anything out, it's really slow, because you don't need to do that. And that's not necessarily true nowadays.
Or they're trying to keep people from running servers out of their house.
Yeah, starting businesses out of their house and have it be fruitful, because they do have another service where you can get more bandwidth going out, and they charge a lot of money for that.
A lot of money.
So, but there are some service providers that are understanding that for home users, what we're doing nowadays, you just got to have larger bandwidths for home users. There's some home users like myself have faster connections than some businesses do.
Yeah, there you go, pouring the salt in the wound again. I've got the best I've got in my neighborhood.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. It'll be there one day.
David from a certain electric cooperative, hurry it up.
Okay, so VPN, we don't want to shoot down a VPN to say that the VPNs are just bad. They're just not what they're being sold as.
Well, marketing.
Marketing, great marketing. And again, they do have an ulterior motive. And again, to sit here and say, well, you shouldn't do that because they're doing that. Well, if you're using any kind of Google at all, they're tracking you too. So that's just the name of the game now.
Have you seen the new DuckDuckGo ads?
No? What did they say?
Oh, it's pretty cute. It's everywhere you go, I'll be watching you.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's wearing a Google T-shirt.
Yeah. It's no secret. I mean, I think we talked about this before. I mean, we talk about a particular topic that we've never talked about before, and then all of a sudden, on your phone, and when you're browsing the internet, all these ads show up now on your social media that is for that particular product or whatever that is, and it's like, you swear the devices are listening to you. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They say they're not, and they say they're using all of that statistics, right? The statistics to say, for this community, for this age of a person, for this type of person that always does this kind of activity, we can say that that's pretty common, and they can pretty much guess. And you and I both know, have done those tests. They're pretty good. The artificial intelligence that are kind of built into that is pretty good. So you're not going to get away from it if you say, I'm not going to use a VPN. Just be careful about the VPN services that are out there, because some might be doing way more of invading into your privacy and invading into your security than what they should be, because they have that ability.
Yeah, they have the ability, and they've got to continue operations somehow. So that's how they're monetizing it, and so that they can continue operations.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're using a VPN service, you like it, I would say continue to use it. Just be careful and pay attention. They may be great today, but they could turn bad tomorrow. Sometimes dollar signs show up whenever other less, less integrity of companies, the ones that don't have any kind of morals, will go in and say, "Oh, you have all this data. We'll pay you this much money for it." And we know there are leaders of some organizations that have, even though there were laws protecting it, they would find ways of selling just information. Things like just even email addresses. That is high value to have somebody's email address.
Well, not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, because it's pretty easy to get most of them nowadays. But anything, names, phone numbers, email addresses, any of that stuff, and they're supposed to be protected. But again, they get you by the EULAs, the user licensing agreements. Whenever you go through there and it pops up this box and you got to read the 200 pages of fine print stuff, or you can just click OK to bypass it, and everybody just clicks OK, including me. Yeah, it's all that stuff in there. They can do a lot with your data.
And you've just given them permission as soon as you click OK.
Yeah.
Of course, your option is to not click OK and not have whatever functionality you're seeking.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you like this content, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can be notified of any future content that we might have. And please, we like to be as interactive as possible. Send us some comments, tell us how well we did.
And if you don't like it, please let us know. But don't use curse words every other word.
Yeah.
Be constructive. And we have no problems posting it. But if you're just going to rant and rave and curse, it's not going to get posted.
Yeah. So contribute to the conversation. We're all here to learn. We're all here to try to be secure in the simplest way as possible. We can't always be technical geeks because, the geeks can't save the world. There's a lot of people in the world, and we all got to get educated to figure out, what we're going to do and how we're going to protect ourselves. And if we just can empower you with the information, that's what we want to do. So please ask questions. Please comment. Share your experiences. Share your information. And, we'll be glad to talk about it in future topics and future episodes. We appreciate that. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for having this conversation with us, Okie style. Until next time, we are the original security guys.